I am going to do a little tutorial on Cricut, sort of, kind of. Anyway, so I had this photo. My parents recently had to move them, and I found this photo. So this is myself and my niece, and I saw this photo and I'm just like, oh, I love that. I have to do something with that. So I decided that I would do a layout. So what I did was I started with this one. So this is a Close to My Heart Cricut collection. It is the Complete Creativity. Now I've completely forgotten which layout this is, but it'll tell me. I think. Sorry, maybe I wrote it down here. Look, I did. It's Complete Creativity. Yes. So the layout is from Complete Creativity. So what that means is that they're completed layouts on that cartridge. I can't show them to you on my iPad because the app doesn't work that way. I can only look up images. Very confusing. But on my computer, I can actually look up by cartridge and I can see all the layouts. So this happens to be an 8.5 by 11 layout. But of course, I like to do 12 by 12s. So I started out with a 12 by 12 square, which is my base. I can't cut bigger than, I think it's 11.5, which is fine. So this is actually 11 inches square. That was the size that I decided I would want. So I took the overlay and I made it bigger, but I only made it 11. And then I took all the other components and I moved them over. And because my photo is not a portrait photo, it's a landscape, I just kind of played around with it. So you can see that the majority of my stuff is the same, but I added some mats because it looked very empty without them. And I like the idea of having mats that are not fully under the photo. So that's what I have. I've done all the cutting ahead of time, and I've done some of the assembly ahead of time. So I just thought it might be interesting for you to see how I take that kind of a layout and I make it bigger. And I've done that with actually quite a few of them. I've opened them up and I've just played around with how I can make them into 12 by 12s. Just so that they're kind of there, and I was just kind of playing around one time. So I've done that with a few and then I've saved them. So it's just kind of, it's a fun way to utilize the cartridges. And I mean, you don't have to, even though it's one layout, you don't have to make that. You can completely change it. Like these pieces are all separate pieces. So let me just get these gems out of my way. Looks like I lost one already. Put that back. So, also, I'm going to do a little hidden journaling box. So this is not much different than the cards, the motion cards that we just looked at. I'm going to make it an actual hidden journaling box though, because I didn't want to clutter up the layout with any more. So here's my overlay. So it took me a long time to decide what I wanted to do. So I actually cut one of these in white, as well as in the craft. I had textured craft cardstock. I put it underneath. I played around, and it just took me a really long time until I finally settled on this paper. This is very old paper. It's called Passages. I can't show you the back now because I've actually put a piece of cardstock on there because the paper is thin. So it's not the cardstock weight like we have now. It's much thinner, and so it's not really strong enough on its own for a base page. So anyway, so that's what I did, and it's very simple. As you can see, it's just a crinkled paper, and it has a little bit of color differences in here. Getting a bit of shadow, so hopefully you can see that. And so I'm going to add this overlay on there. Now, I think what's going to be my best way? I think I'm going to try with my liquid glue again. I could try with this, but on the big overlays, I find it dries too quickly. And then I only get half stuck. So if I use this, it will, stay wet longer and allow me to actually take the time to do it. So I'm not going to worry too much about, all of these. Luckily, this glue dries clear, which is what it's actually called. Because I will have my other papers on top, so they will help to hold these little bits down. It's the only downside to these overlays is they're a bit of an ordeal to stick down. But you can see like the time it takes, because like I said, the other glue is great, but it tends to dry kind of fast. Too fast for me to do this anyway. I've not had a lot of luck with it for overlays. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with that. Okay, this also gives me a little bit of flexibility because it allows me to move things around a bit in case they're crooked, because this is really awkward. I'm gonna try it this way, see what happens if I do this. Oh boy. There. So not the easiest thing to do there. What I like to do is when I have a rough surface, I go like this. And I can rub across the whole thing without worrying about catching. Just have to remember and clean my work surface, which I still haven't done. And I've been doing a lot of crafting on something else lately. Okay, so there we go. So that is now down. And so my next piece is this one. Sorry, I just want to, I have a picture saved so that I make sure that I remember what it was that I was planning to do. See, now that I've got the bigger piece, this will help my overlay stay down. So I'm going to be a little bit generous with the adhesive. I'm not usually, because I don't usually worry about it too much. And I just realized I forget things. I need to actually pop this up so that this fits underneath. So I'm just wondering if I should just take the top off. I think I might. I'm just going to take the top of the adhesive off and use foam tape only on half. So I've never done it this way before, but I was actually watching Vicky Booten, and she did a layout, and it was very interesting. She took her photo mats and she stuck down the bottoms and then just put a little piece of foam tape on the tops so that just the top stuck up. And I thought, oh, that's actually a really neat idea. You don't always have to make your piece the same all the way across. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's what we're going to do here. Once I get all this adhesive off that I was very generous with. Oh, I even reviewed it before I started and I still did this mistake. That's why it's so much easier when you record and edit your videos. Then you don't get to see all the mistakes. I see there's a couple of folks out there watching. enjoying my live mistakes. I think I've made a mistake on every video today. I'm on a roll. Okay, let's try that again. So make sure, might need to, oh, should be okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put my foam tape. So I just cheap out when I'm doing stuff like this, and I use my dollar store tape. It probably won't last me forever, and I'll probably regret it, but that's what I do. So I want to go, where is that? I'll go this way so I can see it. I'm going to line that up because I want that to go in, but I don't want it to go in and go past. So I want it to stop. So I use this, and then that will stop it from going any further. And then this, get a piece down here. I want to keep it pretty tight because it works better that way. Okay, so there we go. I'll get that little bit of glue that's still stuck there. Get that out. Or my thing will stick every time I slide it in. I find it sometimes does that on the edges of the foam tape anyway. Okay, so I've done that. I think that should make it interesting. Let's see. I'm hesitating because I'm thinking I should stick this other stuff down first. So let's do that. Before I stick that one down, even though there's adhesive on it there, I'm going to stick these down. Let me open up my thing here again. Okay, so this photo is 5 by 3.5 because that's the sizes that they used to be. So what I've done is I've cut this white piece actually smaller. So typically you would, you know, have it fit all the way around, make it more like a Polaroid, but I didn't want to do that. And I need to stamp on there too. So I'll do that first. Well, I'm going to stick it down. So I'm going to stick this down onto there like that. I'm doing it this way because then I know I've got my tape on the edge. And I want it pretty tight. I don't want a big border around that. So there. I have to move this. It's going to stick down. Maybe I should just stick it down. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And then I pulled out this stamp set. So this was the brushed workshop originally. And I don't think that was one of the ones that they brought back when they brought it back. And then I'm pretty sure I checked. I think this stamp fits. Just felt like it needed a nice little something here. And this one's a little bit hard to make sure that that's nice and straight. That looks pretty good. I think I'll use my big long block for that. And I'm going to use, what color ink do I want to use on that? I'm going to use the blue. That's what I'm going to use. My sapphire. Yep. I'm just going to get that out of the way. And make sure that I'm nice and straight. I'm going to go to that side. Now I didn't put my stamp pad down. Typically when it's thinner words, it's usually okay. I probably should have put it down just to be sure, but I didn't. Get that off. And my chamois should still be wet enough to clean this. It is. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Put that away. Don't think I need it again. So then I have this other piece. So this one, a little piece of tape there, is going to go something like that. So I think I'll stick this one down first, and then I'll put my picture over top. So, like, I'm not measuring any of this. If I really wanted to, I could go into Cricut, right? And I could check out what the dimensions are. I didn't, even in Cricut, when I made my own version of the layout, I really measure. I just kind of placed it where I thought it looked best. There we go. So like, especially for a layout like this, I find it's not really as necessary. Okay. And then I want to make sure I'm not over top of the holes, but I want a decent amount of that paper showing underneath. I think I'm going to go up a bit. I don't want it to be even. I want it to be, there we go. Oh, I just love this picture. I think one of the biggest things I like about this picture is our hair blowing around. Okay. So now I am going to stick it down. Now that I have those bigger pieces on there. I think that's okay. So before I started, I also had kind of pulled these up, right? And kind of bent them around a bit. I just wanted them to be a little bit rough. And you can see that I inked the edges of my paper too. This one I might want to measure, but mostly just to make sure that it's square. I'm not really worried about dimensions. Just don't want it to be crooked. Okay. That's good. There, now you can see my little journal comes in and out. Okay, and then I have all my little embellishments here. So the original layout pretty much the same. I didn't make this bigger. It was quite a decent size, but I just extended it out more, so it's not underneath this one as much as it was on the original layout. In fact, I don't even know if I cut that piece on the Cricut. I might have just cut it by hand. I can't remember now. So I just want that one to be there. And then this one I think needs some foam tape. That would be better. So I'm going to go ahead and use this thicker one again because it's in a scrapbook, so I'm not worried about dimension in the scrapbook. It's fine. Where do I want that? lots of pieces on this one. I think those will be okay. I do have some tiny ones here though. Maybe I'll just throw these on. I don't know if they're the same thickness, but it doesn't really matter. It's just to stop them from getting squished. These are so tiny. That's good, I think. So yeah, I think I was saying, so when with the layout compared to the original one, I think I changed up the colors a bit, like certain things are the same as other, like these letters were a different color. So I just kind of shifted them around to match what I wanted. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. So now I can take these off. I think I'm going to pop up those letters too. They should be okay. They're not as heavy as cardstock because they're the pattern paper. Oh, and I should say this paper, so these are, they're not all from the mix-ins. The blue and the yellow are from a mix-in pack. The red and this plaid one there is from another pack that was a while back, which I can't think of the name right now because I didn't buy a pack of it. I just had some pieces left over from samples, I think. I feel like it was maybe Grateful. It was definitely a fall one, but I bought the workshop kit, and the workshop kit back then didn't come with the paper. Okay, whoa, get off. Okay, so that is gonna go like there. Okay, so see, that's a little bit thinner, but that's okay. Okay, that goes there. My little butterfly I'm moving over more than what they showed because I have that tag there. So they kind of showed it on the tag, but I don't want it on a tag because it will be in the way then. And I've got a nice spot here. I actually wondered if I should put something else there with it. That's too big. There, what do we think? Oh, I didn't put this on. This is from the same kit as that background paper, right? Yeah, the passages. So that's got to slide under here. So I'm going to have to put that up. I'll slide that under. Just like that. Just realized I maybe should have put some tape there. I don't think it really matters. It's not going anywhere. This still works. This little guy. I think I will go with that, and then I'll put some of these gems around him. Go like that, and then I just have to do this one. So, those look too big. Oh, I have so many different foam square things to choose from. These are so tiny though. Okay, I'm gonna get a tool to make this easier. So this is so much easier. This is my paper piercer and my embossing tool. So one thing I think I forgot to mention in my last live was about the specials that are on right now. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but there's a few. So the Happiest Place, which is the kind of Disney themed papers and stamps and everything. So just so you know, that one is only available till the end of this month. I guess I did mention it when I was talking about the idea book. Anybody that really likes Halloween, there is a Halloween special. It just, I just heard from the president last night. She posted saying that unfortunately the product has gotten held up in customs for some reason. Don't usually have issues like that, but maybe just with everything that's been going on. So it was supposed to be live and it's not. So we don't have a date for when that's coming out, but it will be available until the end of October anyway. But once it is available, I'll certainly post the details of it. It really is super cute. It's just adorable. The little characters in it, and I don't know, the colors are really nice. I don't even think there's purple in it this time. They tended to do a lot with purple, which I never really cared for Halloween, but anyway, it's really cute. And then what else do we have? So right now on the website are stamps for COVID. So what are they called? It's called Forever Grateful. So if you look on the main page there, you'll see it. Oh, hi Jess. See you popped on there. And so those are only going to be available until the end of this month. So a lot of people have already gotten them because they've been out for a little while. But if you don't have them and you really do think that you want to get them, make sure that you grab them before the end of the month. Because as I said, stamps, if they don't have thin cuts, once they're gone, they're gone. They don't bring them back. Or they don't put them on the online only section. They might bring them back because they do like the bring back stuff, but that doesn't happen too often. And with the amount of stamps that they've had, the chances are that it's not going to be, necessarily what you're looking for. Okay, so I want to make sure my sew is the right way. I'm going to turn it this way. My lines match better. So it's going to go here. So all I'm doing is I'm lining it up kind of with the end of the happy. It's close. It's kind of there. I like that. And there it is. So happy. I just need to find a stamp set to use there. I think I looked. I think I was just going to use the one from the special. It made the most sense. And what do I want to say? I don't think I'm going to say pull, even though I feel like that's what it needs to say. But I think I'm going to put surprise because that's fun. What do you think? Is it too small? I could do like a little heart though. I might think about that one a bit before I go ahead and do that. Okay, let's put some gems on here. Let's see what we got going on with these gems. These are an old one, but I like them very much. I've used them a lot. I've had, I don't know how many packages of them. I don't know where all these are coming from. They're a bit of a mess. Ooh, get on. Okay, so what color do I want? Apparently I use the darkest color the most. I think I'm going to use this middle color. That. Maybe I'll use a bit of all of them. I like that it just kind of blends in. I better take this off before I lose it. Oh, who's lost stamps? I have. Oh, they stick to so many things when you're not really paying attention. And then all of a sudden you're like, where did that stamp go? What do you think? Something like that. I just feel like I want to use a bunch of these. Is that silly? What do you think? I think that's okay. I think I need another one up here. Oops. Ah, come on. Uh-oh. Lost one. That's a little bit better. Is that enough? I don't know. What do you think? Should I put more on there? Where else do we want them? These little ones are fun, but I don't have a lot of them. Just feel like I want a bunch of these on here. Why not? I always like it when I see layouts that do stuff like that, and then I never do it myself. I don't know if I want a big one down here. Oh, that's not bad. I kind of like that. I think I like that. I don't know if I want to do anything over here or just leave it. Anyway, I think I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm good. I'm going to decide what little stamp I want. Maybe I can find something else. Maybe a little heart there would be cute.